Hey, everybody, welcome into the special new video edition of Talking Tactics with Coach Gough, where I'm going to look to come on here and answer questions from listeners using a video element so you can see what the heck I'm talking about. I am Coach Brad Gough, and this is a question from Brett Sova, who asked via Patreon because he's a Patreon supporter. He says he'd love to hear what differences to look for when FC Cincinnati play with two strikers as opposed to when they play with two number 10s, and specifically what is best for Luca Orellano. Now, this is a big question. So I'm going to answer it in two parts. First, we're going to look at the general roles and responsibilities when FC Cincinnati plays with two strikers. So first of all, the thing to remember is that formations are mostly semantic. They're flexible, depending on whether the team is in the defensive, the middle, they're attacking third, whether they're defending, attacking, transitioning. Roles and responsibilities of players will change. So I've said this a lot in terms of how they operate and what formation is better is really more semantics than actual reality. But managers can use formations to clarify for their players what role they want them to serve in the team. So now it's impossible to cover every situation, but we're going to look at FC Cincinnati building out of the back with the ball with the center backs. So let me pull up my whiteboard and we will get going. Okay, so let me set the scene here. First, we're playing with two strikers, again, as I said, that we're building out of the back. So the ball's here with the center back. In this formation, as they build, FC Cincinnati will push the outside center backs wide, push the wing backs high, and look to build from there. Okay, so when the ball is passed to one side, we're going to adjust some of these players. Defenders will move to block off passing lanes. Attackers will move, teammates will move to provide support. These two strikers are going to need to work as a pair. So the run of your strike partner dictates your run. So looking at this near side striker first, okay? The near side striker might check to the ball. We call this pinching. It's a pinch and stretch. So the near side striker checks, a defender presumably follows. Now that allows the far side forward to stretch in behind. Okay, so it's a pinch and stretch. You're reading the run. You're creating this space for your partner to run into. So now if the ball reverses fields and heads on over to the other side, you're going to see, let's adjust some of these players. Teammates move to support. Defenders start to move to try to press space on the ball. Remember, this is all happening quickly in real time. Now what we're going to have is this new striker. It's his job to check into space, right? They're working as a team. That provides space for the other striker to now run in behind. It's a pinch and stretch. Now, one thing to keep in mind is depending on what the number 10 is doing here, things could change. Here, you're going to see the 10 is going to clog up space. There's no space for the striker to check into. It's all covered by his presence just being there. You don't want to crowd out. This is going to be Evander, right? Here, you might have both strikers press that back line, just trying to provide a bit more space for maybe a long ball or a ball over, or if Evander gets on the half turn, he has this space to play in here. So both strikers look to press their opponents back. So now it's time to talk about strengths of this. Strengths of this formation are going to be that you always have somebody pushing the back line back. Even if one guy checks, there's always a forward there that's going to be challenging those center backs so they can't keep compressing space. The other thing is playing in layers allows for you to come from behind this midfielder as you're checking to the ball, which should make it easier for you to find space to be open. The weaknesses is this 10 can get crowded out by two holding midfielders, always marking him because he's the only one there. And another big weakness is as this forward checks through the lines, he is going to have a clean touch, or the ball ricochets off of him and goes to a defender, or even if it ends up with an attacker, it ends up being in a position where the defense just continually closes in. We've seen Yuya Kubo have this problem in the past. He checks into a really good space, doesn't always have the cleanest of touch. So that's how, at least on paper, you would operate with two strikers. Make sure you stay tuned to this channel to see how I think you would operate with 2 number 10s, and then we'll see if we can't figure out together what would be best for Luca Orellano. This has been Talking Tactics with Coach Gough. I am Coach Brad Gough. If you want to get your questions read and answered online, you can be a Patreon supporter like Brett. Head on over to cincinnattisoccertalk.com/support and become a Patreon supporter. You can ask me a question. I'll do my best to answer it here. Until next time.